I was in high school, and it was my senior year, and there was this kid named Ryan John, 2 first names, that had a graduation party. So like some of the parents were there, and we hadn't graduated yet, but it was a, let's all hang out and celebrate our independent graduation. Long after the parents had left, and long after some of the kids had started drinking, my buddies and I decided, yeah, let's go get some cigars. Crappy, stupid cigars, because we're 18 and we can do that. Well, first of all, it was my buddy Pete. And Pete was this big, red-headed dude. Really goofy and kind of chubby and kind of talk like this all the time. Like, hey, Mike, let's go get some cigars. Which sounded like a great idea coming from Pete. And then there was my buddy Sean. And Sean's the kind of guy where he would get into trouble, but he wouldn't tell anyone. And so it would be that thing where, like, Monday you'd come back to the cafeteria and everyone would be like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? And like, oh, nothing, hung out, played video games. And they're like, what'd you do, Sean? It's like, oh, 2 girls came over to my house, we made out. And I was like, well, what? You know, this is the day before Facebook, right? So Sean's a bit of a nerd, right? But very clever and funny and cool guy. And then there's this kid, Mikey, who's a year younger than us, and I don't know, it just kind of came along. Now, Pete decides he really wants to drive a car that's not his, because Pete drove a really crappy Ford Probe, which led to a lot of jokes. It was a 2-door car and it was a stick shift. He's like, forget that, man, I want to drive another car. So I offered my red Volkswagen Jetta, which was unanimously decided to be way too girly for any self-respecting group of men to drive. And so we took Sean's 1986 Honda Civic. Woo! Going crazy. And we drive down to the Turkey Hill. And Turkey Hill is a chain of convenience stores in Lancaster, Pennsylvania that's famous. They're kind of cruddy and run down. You go there to get slushies and sunflower seeds. You don't go there to get cigars at midnight. Well, we pull into this Turkey Hill. Lights are kind of dim. We park the car. I hop out. Sean hops out. I get to the door and I shake the handles. I'm like, oh man, it's not open. I thought they're open 24 hours. Sean's like, whatever. Grabs both handles, pulls them open, walks in like he's king of Turkey Hill. Which I thought was weird because I saw the deadbolt hanging out of the doors. I was like, all right, Sean knows what he's doing. So we walk in, I'm kind of looking at the paper and looking around. Pete and Mikey haven't got out of my car yet. Sean's looking for the bathroom. I see Sean walking around behind the counter. And we hear this. Sean looks at me and goes, alarm. And I go, shit. At which point, we bust out of the doors. I do the worst Dukes of Hazzard slide across 1987 you've ever seen. Hop in the front of the car. Sean runs around, jumps in the back. I turn to Pete and go, Pete, go! Pete, used to driving a stick shift, throws the thing, throws the follow, drives, looking backwards, and goes over the curb. And I go, Pete! No! Pete does this worst thing a getaway driver has ever done. He goes, reverse, Pete, reverse! He slams in reverse, bumps off the curb, pull out, burn out of the parking lot of the Turkey Hill. We're trying to get down the road and we're come towards an intersection, and there's a light, and it's green, and now it's yellow, and now Pete does the second worst thing a getaway driver's ever done, slams on the brake, bam, right at a yellow light, and we watch it turn red. I go, Pete, why the hell did you stop? And Pete goes, I don't run through yellow lights. At which point Sean from the back of the car goes, we just broke into a Turkey Hill, you can run a yellow light. And I go, Pete, it's red, go, turn right, turn right. And he goes, no. And I go, why not, Pete? And he goes, there's a sign that says no turn on red. We are running away from it. Like, I'm screaming at Pete, at which point, blue lights fill the car. I look at Sean, I look at Pete, Pete looks at me, Pete looks at Sean, and there is a shared understanding that the shit has now hit the fan. We wait for the light to turn green, and we turn right, and we pull over. There's a spotlight that fills the car, and we are standing there. And over the microphone it goes, no one move. I'm just paralyzed in fear. And I hear Sean from the back go, Mike, I need a cough drop on my glove compartment. And I go, do you have a cough? no, I've been drinking. Oh. So I deftly take a cough drop and I throw it into the back seat. God, the cop didn't see me. So while Sean sits on the cough drop, 3 other cop cars show up. And we're just waiting. The cop walks up to the front to the car, knocks on the window. He is that over the car. License and registration. He, it's not my car. Get out of the car. We get out of the car, at which point Mikey, who I had forgotten about until this point, runs to the back of the car and, like we're at a drug bust, puts his hands on the hood and bends over. The cops holding up their mag lights looking at this wannabe perp. What the hell are you doing, son? Get in line and spread your legs. So we're standing in someone's backyard, legs spread, arms spread. They were patting us down good. More than any Catholic boy ever gets pat down. And so at this point, they've searched the car. They take a mag light and put it in Pete's face. They say, son, what happened at the Turkey Hill? I'm standing there paralyzed, thinking, I am like 2 months from graduation. All I've ever wanted to do was get out of Lancaster. I've gotten into Wake Forest. I'm getting to North Carolina. I am out of here. My parents are going to kill me if we get arrested, Pete. Lie. For Christ's sake, Pete. Lie like you've never lied before. You can't drive a car. You can at least lie, Pete. Lie. And Pete goes, oh, we accidentally opened the door. We got really scared. And then we jumped in the car. And we ran. The cop goes, yeah, I saw the whole thing. I was in the parking lot next door. The cop was so impressed by Pete's honesty, he didn't even bother to write up Mikey for being past curfew. If you're under 18 in Lancaster, you have to be home before 11. Maybe he just forgot about Mikey too, like we all had. Pete saved my ass by being the worst getaway driver I've ever seen in my life.